Karl, in 2006, you had a near-death experience. How did this come about? How did this happen? The way I experienced it was that I was always feeling cold. At first I was thinking I had caught a chill, but it wasn't that at all. I didn't know, of course. It had been going on for roughly 1.5 or 2 months. It started in September. I was with a family in Italy visiting, and it was autumn, and that's when I had these chills. I had no idea what was wrong with me, and so I came back home to Switzerland, and then I went straight away to the doctor. Then the doctor said he didn't know. He said it was just a cold. And this cold got worse and worse. So then I took to my bed, and my wife made up a hot water bottle for me. It was autumn. And then I collapsed. I don't know where, I don't know when or how. But then my wife brought me to the hospital by ambulance in Burgdorf, and there they said it looked like I had a pneumococcal disease, but that turned out not to be the case. We heard that later on. Then I became unconscious, and from that time on, when I collapsed, to the point I woke up again, I was oblivious to everything. I was clinically dead for 10 days. I learned all of this later, and thanks to a nurse or doctor from the former East Germany, she had looked after me during those 10 days, day and night, in the hospital in Burgdorf. They really went out of their way for me. And while I was in that trance state, I had fantasies or a dream or something. I was in a temple. It was all white and bright. During the time you were clinically dead, you had a near-death experience. Yes, a trance. I don't know what to call it. I don't know the right terms for that. I wasn't in this world anymore. Then I was in a room, a hall, a temple. There were columns, all really bright, like these camera lights, everything in white. And then, I don't know how it happened, I saw another, even brighter light. And then 2 apparitions came toward me. But before that, I saw my father, my mother, my grandfather, my acquaintances, my uncle, and then, although they are dead now, but they were in East Germany, we are in fact Swiss immigrants. And then my mother asked me, "What are you doing here?" My mother asked me in High German, "What are you doing here?" So she was German? Yes, she was German. She never took on the Swiss dialect. We had come to Switzerland in 1949. That was her dialect. And then she asked me, I'll say it again, "What are you doing here?" So I said, "I don't know where I am." And the aunts and uncles, who I knew really well, even grandfather who died in 55 at the age of 86, "Carly, what are you doing here?" I said, "I don't know. I can't answer that." They could talk to me, but I couldn't talk to them. They understood me, and that went on. I would estimate for perhaps a half an hour. So you came into this temple, this bright temple. And then you first of all encountered your relatives. My relatives first, yes. There were thousands of people down there, absolutely thousands. In that temple? Yes, in that temple. We were all dressed in white. They were all friendly. They were laughing and singing. They were just, how can I put it, happy, as if it was a big festival. Your relatives, did they look younger or just the same as when they died? Exactly the same as when they died. I mean, for me, they were alive again. Just the way you and I are talking now, that's how I heard them. In that conversation I was having with my mother, a bright apparition came, and it came closer and closer. I was told not to be afraid, so I wasn't afraid. I knew she was dead. They were all dead. We were at the funerals. I wasn't afraid. Then this shape approached. In my opinion, it was a group of young girls. I didn't see wings, but I think they were angels. I couldn't tell their ages. Could you say roughly? Well, about 25 or 30. And they looked like they could have been sisters. And all dressed in white, white hair. It was long, too. And they spoke with me. And they brought me into this huge, absolutely huge hall with columns. It was really just beautiful. And then both of them asked me, they spoke to me as Carly. My name is Karl. Carly, do you want to come with us? And then they took me with them into another room where there were horses. And I'm thinking, we used to be farmers. Why are there horses here? We had nearly the same horses. There were two completely black ones with hair down to their feet, to the ground. You mean to say their manes? Yes, their manes. Well, those were two really heavy. We used to say plow horses, really strong horses. I don't know what the breed is. There were two black and two white ones, and they stood beside each other. And then the angels, they talked among themselves, and then they asked me, would you rather have the black ones or the white ones? So I thought, why are you asking me? I'd rather have the white ones. Why? And then she said, that's good that you chose the white ones. And then, like a cloud, I had to hold tight to the manes. To the white one, with both horses and both apparitions, angels as far as I was concerned, I began to ride upwards again. Up? Where now? I came back to consciousness again. I heard conversations with the nurse and with the doctor. In the room, I was in the ICU. They were talking together. I don't know what they were talking about. And then she, the sister, saw that I had woken up, or at least had opened my eyes. Then I saw the machines all around that were keeping me alive. And then I slowly regained consciousness. And then, in a cozy sort of way, I started to hear the people talking very faintly. And then they left me alone. I dropped off again, I guess. I just had the feeling afterwards that I have a bed. I'm in bed. I didn't notice anything from when I had collapsed to the point where I woke up. So then I woke up and the nurse said, "Oh, Mr. Gurtner, it's good to have you back." And she said, "You've been gone for 10 days. And the machines, they were showing that I was clinically dead," she said. Only the brain, the electrical signal, was showing activity. And she told me a lot of things. She said I was healthy, that I had only developed a sugar problem. Diabetes? I had diabetes, yes. Why, I don't know. It's in the family, apparently. We all suffer from it. And then we talked, and I dozed off again. Meanwhile, and then she told me straight away that I would always be ill and that I would just have to live with it. And she looked after me, and there were doctors there, but I was healthy, except for this sugar. They wanted my kidneys. They wanted to operate, but she was always saying, I believe I owe my life to this nurse. Otherwise, I would have been long dead. So they were waiting to use your kidneys in a transplant? Is that it? So, was there a big difference between this near-death experience and a normal dream? Oh, a huge difference. What effect did this NDE have on your subsequent life? Well, did you lose your fear of death? Yes, I lost that. The fear. I have no more fear. I said it to my wife and everyone else. It was really beautiful down there. It was truly beautiful. People always have different opinions about that. Either you're shoveling coal or have to go to the devil or whatever. That was gone. You mean your fear is gone? Yes, my fear of death is gone. Looking back on the memory as it came into my head, it was, well, really a paradise down there. Or maybe it was down or up, I don't know. I couldn't decide if it was up or down. Okay, Karl, thank you so very much for the talk. You're welcome.